that the news network you work for out and out lied. Well, just outright.
Dude, he's so mad, dude. Joe Rogan literally spreads vaccine disinfo, and he's mad that when he took a drug that is a horse dewormer, they called it a horse dewormer.
Joe took horse medicine. Joe took horse medicine. Joe took horse medicine.
You don't understand. If we just don't make fun of Joe Rogan, he'll stop spreading vaccine misinfo. So Joe Rogan is a person who exists. I've been known to have some disagreements with the guy. And apparently one of CNN's own went on over there to have a conversation with him and apparently got wrecked? I don't really know. But there's been some contention. The CNN clip has over 1 million views as of 2 days ago, and it's been dislike bombed into oblivion. I guess I just want to see what the big dealio is. But this is the CNN like coverage of it. If you guys have the original clip, you can let's see.
Our chief medical correspondent, Dr. Sanjay Gupta, sat down for a 3-hour one-on-one with controversial podcast host Joe Rogan last night.
Cool.
Rogan remains a vaccine skeptic despite having caught COVID-19 himself. Let's listen to part of this.
Is Joe Rogan vaccinated? This dude's been dishonest about his level of fear of the pandemic before. Is it possible he's lying about it? I don't know. All the Fox News hosts are lying about it. They all have to be vaccinated. I mean, yeah.
So would you now, with what you know now, and having had COVID, would you have wished that you had been vaccinated beforehand?
But I got
you almost
through
got
it.
vaccinated.
Yeah, but I explained all that.
You got through it.
But I got through COVID.
Yeah,
pretty quickly.
Yeah.
So that was my thought was, I'm a healthy person.
I don't know why it's so shaky.
I exercise constantly. I'm always taking vitamins. I take care of myself.
Okay.
I felt like I was going to be okay, and that was true. It was correct.
That's not really how that works. I don't think your level of musculature is what determines how effectively you fight off the COVID vaccine. Oh, this is the big clip? Okay, this is the big clip.
On a news network.
Horse dewormer's not a flattering thing. I get that.
It's a lie. It's a lie on a news network, and it's a lie that's a willing. That's a lie that they're conscious of. This is not a mistake.
Yeah.
They're unfavorably framing it as veterinary medicine.
Well, the FDA put this.
Well, that is what people are getting. They are literally getting ivermectin from like pet care stores because their doctors aren't recommending it to them. So they're going to these pet care stores and literally getting horse dewormer. By the way, I don't give a fuck about this. This is not dishonest, okay? Ivermectin is a horse dewormer. If you buy it, even if you get it from a doctor, it remains a horse dewormer. It is not anti-COVID medication. It's not. It is a horse dewormer. If they want to make fun of you by saying you're taking horse dewormer, I don't care. That's not dishonesty. You could say that's negative framing, but it's still horse dewormer. That's the thing that it is. It's just funny that Joe Rogan plays it so fast and loose with the presentation of information on his podcast all the time, and he's accusing a major news network of dishonesty for saying that he took horse dewormer when that is literally a thing that he took, and he was advocating the use of an unscientific treatment towards COVID. He's being criticized right now for spreading misinformation, and his response is to turn around and say, no, you know?
This thing out. You saw that. Did you see that thing that the FDA put out?
What did the FDA put out?
It was a tweet, and it was snarky. I admit it. They said, you are not a horse, you are not a cow, stop taking this stuff, or something like that.
Why would you say that when you're talking about a drug that's been given out to billions and billions of people, a drug that...
Has ivermectin been given to billions of humans? What? Also, it's given to humans for deworming. It's given to humans for killing parasites because it is a dewormer. It is not. Ivermectin's a popular medication in Latin America because they have higher rates of parasites. I don't know. It's just. It
was responsible for one of the inventors of it making the
Nobel Prize.
The Nobel Prize in 2015.
Yeah.
Yeah,
no,
a drug
for using it on.
Drug that has been shown to stop viral replication in vitro. You know that, right? Why would they lie and say that's horse dewormer? I can afford.
Hold on. That's an outbreak. Monitoring containment. We report here that ivermectin FDA. Wait, who was the group that published this? Wait, Was this information published? Was this that same joke group who's pushing ivermectin like crazy and they were like censored and their articles were taken down because it turns out they lied to misrepresent info? Is that where this study is coming from? Yeah, bleach also kills like viruses. That's not necessarily an indicator that it's going to affect COVID. What was the group who did this? I'm getting the list of, hold on. Let me find the author's name. Leon Cali, hold on. It only kills viruses at lethal doses to human. Wait, does it actually say that? Wait, does it say that here? Hold on. In vitro single full reduction viral RNA at 45 hours. Fuck, I'm not really qualified to like double check anything like medical. Like I have no way of, yeah, hold on. Let me see. Control F. I'm not looking for a Control F. I'm looking for like the ability to understand what the article is really talking about. I don't need the articles. I need like reputable organizations commenting on those articles. Hold on, viral replication. That's the article. This is from the Lancet. I mean, nope, that's the damn article again. Here, we'll look into it after we finish this clip, okay?
For people medicine, motherfucker. This is ridiculous. It's just a lie.
I don't think anyone is.
But don't you think that a lie like that is dangerous on a news network when you know that they know they're lying? You know that they know that I took medicine. Like, here it is. This is ivermectin.
You got
this
it
is
with
right
you.
here. Somebody gave it to me.
All right, hang on. The thing is, we're like going so fast. Like I feel like I'm missing.
Yeah, he's extremely proud of it. Again, like he's mad because he doesn't like being made fun of. It's as simple as that. This isn't about truth telling or anything like that.
You think that's a problem, that your news network lies?
Well, I don't.
Dude.
What did they say?
They lied
What did
and
they
said
say?
I was taking horse dewormer. First of all, it was prescribed to me by a doctor.
Yeah.
Along
They
with
shouldn't have said
a
it was
bunch of.
Wait, hold on. I've read this from somewhere else, but didn't he say that it wasn't prescribed by a doctor? He just got it from a doctor friend. Like, he didn't go to a doctor, give his complaint, and the doctor prescribed it. He just had a friend who was a doctor who gave it to him. Because he's Joe Rogan, he's rich and famous. Like, if he wants anything, he can get it, you know? I don't know if it was the same as, like, a prescription. I heard that somewhere. I don't know. I mean, we would have no way of, like, independently verifying it either.
Other medications.
If you got a human pill, because there were people that were taking it, the veterinary medication, and you're not, obviously. You got it from a doctor, so that it shouldn't be called that. Ivermectin can be a very effective medication for parasitic disease. And as you say, it's probably, I think, 250 million people have taken it around the world.
More,
I get that.
Way more.
So,
way more. Billions of people have taken it.
Can I just come back to the one I want to talk about? Two things on the ledger.
You have, before we get to that, does it bother you that the news network you work for out and out lied? Just outright lied.
Dude, he's so mad, dude. Joe Rogan literally spreads vaccine disinfo, and he's mad that when he took a drug that is a horse dewormer, they called it a horse dewormer. Like, this would be like saying that somebody's a liar and like giving misinformation because like, you wore like a fucking beard and it was like kind of looked like a Hitler stash, but it wasn't exactly. And somebody on CNN joked saying that you had a Hitler stash or whatever. And it's like basically like a Hitler stash. In fact, it looks exactly like a Hitler stash, but actually it's like a Charlie Chaplin stash. And it's like, that was not a fucking Hitler stash. That was a Charlie Chaplin stash. I was doing a Charlie Chaplin cosplay for Anime Expo. And they're like, well, yeah, we didn't say you were cosplaying as Hitler. We were just saying that you had a little Hitler stash. Like, and like getting super mad over this. I just think Joe Rogan is not a person in the position to be bitching over like this degree of semantic fuckery, you know? So wait, hold on. Now this is the article which critiques the misleading ivermectin study. Is this one critiquing the study that we looked at before? Puffentime, you can say it's uncharitable, but it's also a horse dewormer. I don't know why you're saying like, oh well, it does other things too. Yeah, well, it's also a horse dewormer. I don't care about making fun of people who take ivermectin for COVID. Guys, I want to be clear. First principles, morally, okay? Here are how many fucks that I give about making fun of people who take ivermectin instead of getting vaccinated against the virus. I don't care. I will never care. I'll never care about this bitch baby sensitivity from somebody like Joe Rogan, who in any other day, by the way, is one of these, free speech warriors. We say what we say. Don't take me too seriously, dude. I'm just a monkey man. Bullshit. And then he gets like, all of a sudden, he's like a hyper fastidious, dedicated, warrior against uncharitable interpretations of his stupid behavior. Vosh, lidocaine is a dog pain reliever. It's also used in humans. Is calling someone who takes lidocaine a dog pain reliever user fair? If lidocaine is being used in humans in a way which is like relevant to the use, then there's no point in making fun of them, right? But what if like people all of a sudden thought that the best way to treat COVID vaccines was by getting lidocaine, but none of their doctors would prescribe it to them, so they run off to fucking pet care stores to get lidocaine from there. Okay? Lidocaine. So they ran off to get lidocaine from there, and they're all like buying these fucking like dog pain relievers and like eating them up or whatever. Like, yeah, okay, make fun of them. I don't care. Yeah, for sure. I have no idea how you can watch my content and think that like somebody like Joe Rogan has the right to complain about me being made fun of, you know? You should probably give a few fucks. They're victims of misinformation. They're literally not. Holy shit. What is on with you guys? Do you have like dads who are on ivermectin or something? I have no idea how you can. This is literally semantically not dishonesty. It's uncharitability. And the uncharitability is being directed because they're fucking morons and they're spreading the disinfo and they're perpetuating the pandemic. I don't care if they're bullied. I don't care. Well, seriously, like this is where the fun police are drawn. You guys will soy face when Richard Spencer gets punched, but you're going to complain about people saying that ivermectin is horse dewormer when that's where the vast majority of people taking ivermectin are getting their fucking medicine from? Jesus Christ. It's an easy dunk for conservatives, and pushing this line makes us look stupid to right-wing audiences. I genuinely do not believe that is the case, no. I think the vast majority of the discourse on ivermectin right now should be characterized by contempt towards people who take it, and there's no way of doing that without fueling conservative victim complexes. This, what if we're super nice and charitable all the time shit, doesn't work when the right will just make up reality anyway. Like, we're talking about people who spread misinformation for a living. You think that being semantically and technically and emphatically correct will prevent them from creating victim complexes where they say we lied? They say that we lie when we advocate that vaccines are safe. Joe Rogan constantly spreads misinformation about this stuff. You really think that if we make fun of them less, they'll be like, oh, well, now that I'm being taken seriously, I'm changing all my minds on how serious the pandemic is and ivermectin and all this stuff. Like, come on. Don't buy into their propaganda. Anyway, what the fuck were we doing, huh? Dude, you don't understand. If we just don't make fun of Joe Rogan, he'll stop spreading vaccine misinfo. So this is that article that takes down the previous articles here. Boy, those are a lot of words. I think we've looked over this before, too. Also, I just want to say, get ready for my most consistent take yet. If it turns out ivermectin works, I'm still right. If there are clinical studies that are done and it turns out that the ivermectin actually does end up working, then I was still right the entire time. Because guessing that you should just randomly take a medicine to the exclusion of a vaccine with like no medical evidence and then being right after the fact is not good decision making on your part. It's closing your eyes, crossing the street, and lucking out when none of the cars hit you, okay? You don't get to close your eyes, cross the street, not get hit, then turn around and go, dude, see, it was a good idea. It's not how that works. Not how that works. We're not doing these post hoc justifications. If it turns out that ivermectin is an effective way of treating COVID, then God, go for it. Sure. But you have to wait for that to be proven. And I will not, forget the irony of people who are taking ivermectin in droves are the exact same group of people who were saying that the vaccine was dangerous because it hadn't gotten a full FDA approval yet. I see you. Your behavior is known to me.
Lied about me taking horse dewormer.
They shouldn't have said that.
Why did they do that?
I don't know.
You didn't ask?
To make fun of you.
You're the medical guy over there.
I didn't ask. I
Fun
should have
of you.
asked before
But they
coming
did
on
it
your
with
podcast.
such glee.
No,
Yes, you
Joe.
did.
To make fun of you. Now the Joe Rogan community is now like going to be hyper committed to this extremely like victim mentality where they're the victims of mainstream media oppression because their favorite vaccine skeptic podcast host was made fun of by saying he took horse dewormer when the thing he took was indeed a horse dewormer, but can also be other things. But they made fun of him because they called it a horse dewormer. The tragedy.
Correct. I'm happy I got through it. I don't wish it upon anyone. It wasn't fun, but it wasn't the worst cold I've ever had, and I got over it fairly quickly, relatively speaking.
I think that, and again, I am truly glad about that. I'm not. All kidding aside, I don't think anybody wishes you everyone wants you to be well and healthy. But I think the question is just in terms of the nuance of this. It's not a strategy to recommend people get infected.
I'm
to
not
get their
recommending
immunity.
anybody get infected.
So they should get vaccinated.
I think a lot of people should get vaccinated.
You're talking,
but I think
you're talking a lot of vulnerable people.
Yeah.
If you just said vulnerable people, there'd be a lot
older
of people.
fat people. I think a lot of those.
No, all people. This is vaccine skepticism right here. This is a way of grifting off of the vaccine skeptic audience without having to bite the bullet on saying that like 85-year-olds shouldn't be getting vaccinated. You know, it's incredibly stupid. Everyone should get vaccinated. The question is, why shouldn't fit people get vaccinated? Because even in fit people, COVID is way more potentially destructive than the COVID vaccine.
Folks, my real concern is this urge to vaccinate children, and I don't know what kind of data we have on the long-term effects of this.
We vaccinate them for everything else.
All right, with us now, Sanjay.
We literally vaccinate them for like everything else. We vaccinate kids all the time for shit. Even if children couldn't die from COVID, and they still spread it to other people. Kids are disgusting. You send them off to daycare and they're like licking doorknobs and shoving like other kids' fucking hands in their mouths. It's fucking disgusting. And then they go home to mama and they give fucking their grandma the COVID vaccine.
And, myocarditis can be a really frightening thing. They can develop chest pain, shortness of breath, things like that.
It's inflammation of the heart.
That's what it is. And you got to think of it like this. The reason it can happen in young people, it can happen in anybody, but people who have really robust immune response. You're basically giving the vaccine and you're counting on the immune system to really respond to that. If it responds a lot in someone with a really healthy immune system, it can cause more widespread inflammation.
Wait, you've done this 3 times tonight? You keep saying COVID vaccine when you mean the COVID virus. Do I keep misspeaking that? I'm so sorry. Yeah, the COVID virus. My bad.
People feel miserable for a day or two, and in this case, it can cause inflammation around the heart.
Do we know what the long-term consequences of myocarditis in young people that comes from the vaccine are?
I don't think we don't know. And I think the only way we can know long-term things, to be perfectly honest, of any of these aspects of the vaccine, the only way we can know long-term stuff is with the passage of time, for certain.
That is how that works.
Terrifying for parents.
So, no. If we could never prescribe vaccines under those conditions, then we would never be able to ever for children. You have to do tests on children, right? What, do you want to wait 40 years? There's no evidence right now to suggest that the effects of COVID vaccines on children are going to be any more devastating than the effects of actual COVID, okay? Again, all of this is being done relative to getting COVID. And it's not just a threat to these people too, because even if they got COVID and barely even got sick from it, that's another opportunity for a new strain of the virus to evolve. Every person who gets sick, even if no harm is done to them, increases the likelihood that things will cycle around and develop a more virulent, a more dangerous a more dangerous virus. Caught myself that time. Thank you. There's no argument against this. There's just not. It's not.
Your son could get vaccinated, and most likely he would have been fine if he got COVID, and that your son could catch myocarditis and have permanent heart problems.
Listen to this. Like, ignoring the whole virality spreading it to other people and the potential for new strains thing. It's like, well, there's a very small chance that you might get this thing if you take it as a kid, which might lead to this in the future. Whereas COVID, we know, can give you permanent breathing issues and permanent heart issues. We literally know that right now. By the way, this is the guy you dumb fucks in chat were saying that we should all be super duper nice to, because maybe if we don't make fun of him for taking ivermectin, he'll stop spreading misinformation, Maybe if we're just super charitable to him all the time.
I don't know that we can say the person will be fine if they get COVID.
Isn't he still an ally?
A young boy?
How?
Well,
most young boys with no comorbidities.
When you say fine, you mean what? That they're not going to die?
I mean, like me. I had COVID.
You look like you're
big brain take on the virus, by the way. Dude, I'm fine. So, like, there's either death or there's like, that's what he's saying right now.
You're strong as an ox. Yes, I give you that. But you get teenagers who will have these long COVID naps. You get.
What does that mean?
They're tired all the time.
It's been
they get
a
these
year
sort of long hauler type symptoms.
Mm-hmm.
Almost 25% of COVID-19 patients develop long-lasting symptoms, according to a new report. This number is going to get higher with time, by the way. Time will make this number larger as more long-term symptoms are discovered. Post-COVID conditions, hospitalized. Long COVID. What are the effects? Where does it say the effects? It only says the prevalence, not the effects. Heart disease, kidney failure tend to affect men more often. Difficulty breathing, fatigue. That's a lot of words. Oh boy. Pain and breathing difficulties, intestinal issues, hyperlipidemia. What are the conditions? I want to see them exactly. I want to see exactly what conditions. They were listed. At some point here, they're going to be listed. I hope they have a fucking chapter header. But here we go, here we go, here we go. Post-COVID conditions overview. Okay? Pain, the top post-COVID condition. Breathing difficulties. Hyperlipidemia and hypertension. Malaise and fatigue. Migraine and or headache. Skin issues. Depression. Adjustment disorders. Abnormal heart results. GERD. Anemia. Hyperlipidemia, again, I guess. Sleep disorders. General signs and symptoms. High levels, glucose, cholesterol, BP, hypertension, diabetes, and abnormal organ tests. And then rankings and how they affect everyone. And the first ranking that you see right here is for young people, 0 to 18. Pain, breathing difficulties, intestinal issues, anxiety, malaise, and fatigue. Is that what you guys want? Or you could take the fucking vaccine.
Less so in kids, but
how do you attribute depression to COVID? Depression and anxiety are physiological conditions. They are definitely affected by your physical state. You can literally get illnesses or like suffer injuries that will give you depression. Not because you're sad because you've been injured, but because your brain chemistry is rearranged by the hormone washes and electrochemical signals that run through your brain. It is very susceptible. Like postpartum depression, yeah. Postpartum depression is literally like you've given birth and now the chemicals in your body are making you depressed. Like it's just a chemical imbalance that can be produced by COVID.
You know, when you talk about 33% of people having persistent symptoms that last months, I just feel like we define, like, I think we're allowed to have a nuanced conversation about this. We measure things in terms of life and death.
Yes.
And I get that. I mean, it's easy. It's public health. That's the way the numbers get presented. And frankly, that's our fault as well in the media to just say, this is how many people have died. We don't know a lot about what this virus does to the body.
Right.
We probably shouldn't just think of it as another type of pneumonia or cold because it's clearly doing something else. A cold wouldn't just cause isolated loss of smell. Flu wouldn't even do that. And then so many people developing long-term symptoms.
Whew. It's a lot there. It's like trying to herd cats, Sanjay, in a discussion like that. He shoots.
They're clipping it pretty hard right now. Is the last bit the ivermectin bit?
Testing you to see if you have the virus.
Yes.
The therapeutic is to treat you because you have the virus.
Yes.
I still think it'd be better not to get the virus.
I think it'd be better to get the virus and recover and have amazing immunity to it.
What,
See, like he's literally saying it is better if you're healthy to get the virus and just recover than it is to get vaccinated. That's literally what vaccines do. The purpose of a vaccine is to do that, but safely without actually getting the virus.
Wouldn't it be?
Well, you could get sick, though.
You know what I think you should do? I think you should get
sick.
vaccinated and then get sick.
What?
This is why. Because then you got the vaccine protects you from a bad infection, and then you get COVID, so then you get the robust immunity that's imparted from having the actual disease itself, which is far more complex and comprehensive than
I think the real issue is that we're not being mean enough to Joe Rogan.
you're getting from the vaccine that targets one specific protein, right?
You could make that argument, I think.
Yeah, so that's the move. You get vaccinated, let it wane, and hang around with a bunch of dirty people.
Okay, well, I
then get a lot of therapeutics on hand so you can take care of it quickly.
I will see your recommendation and
do it?
and give you a
Should have come out with us last night. You probably would have caught it.
I almost did. Yeah. Now I know what your secret plan was. No. So
Getting COVID doesn't get you long-term immunity. Yeah, do you guys remember all the people who are like, dude, getting the virus gives you 27 trillion times as much immunity as getting the vaccine? Haha, the vaccine doesn't actually do anything. No. The immunity does not last very long. The immunity benefit, like, yeah, you can get COVID multiple times, very clearly. Some patients could be reinfected within a year. You could say a second infection would be milder than the first. That's totally doable. That's the only reason that Bolsonaro is still alive. Yeah. Also, natural immunity is less reliable. Yeah, also, when you actually get the natural immunity, for however long it lasts, you have the chance of further spreading it to people around you. You can't spread a vaccine. And every time you're gambling on serious long-term damage. Every time.
So for you, Joe Rogan,
Yes.
I would say you've had it.
Yes.
So now get one shot of the vaccine.
No.
Why not?
Because I have better immunity than I would if I was vaccinated.
But does he, Sanjay? Also, he's not a doctor. He sure is talking like one, as if.
True. Joe Rogan is a fucking clown. And just like Jimmy Dore, they have realized that the best way to make money right now, and I don't, by the way, I think that Joe Rogan is dishonest, okay? I have long since moved past the idea that he's some kind of just like exceptionally stupid guy who just agrees with whoever's in front of him. When I watch him talk about certain issues, dishonesty is for me a much easier explanation for his behavior. Jimmy Dore's dishonesty is, I mean, I think pretty forthcoming. But yeah, like it's just a good grift right now. Hey, the most recent video from the Jimmy Dore show is about the video we just watched, literally 6 hours ago. A video where he's taking Joe Rogan's side against CNN, saying that they lied because they said a horse dewormer is a horse dewormer. Unvaxxed patient denied kidney transplant. How much vax shit do you think we can find here when we look for it? I mean, unhinged vax rant, we've got that. This one's against Joe Rogan, so that might be vaccine based. I don't really know. Fauci versus Fauci. Unvaxxed National Guard replacing unvaxxed medical workers. Are the National Guard being brought in to replace the New York City unvaxxed nurses? Unvaccinated? Aren't the National Guard vaccinated? Yeah. The National Guard is currently under a vaccine mandate. The deadline is coming up soon, and not all of them have fulfilled it, but they're currently under a deadline for a vaccine mandate. Okay. Sure. Cool. Study, vaccines being incorrectly. Fauci has no... So, that's a quick one. Vaccine, 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 vaccine. Greenwald targeted by CIA. Yeah, nice. Vaccine, 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 vaccine. Like, constantly. I'm surprised YouTube allows these up. Well, he never goes so far as to, like, engage in COVID denialism. He'll just try to present, like, a half story on stuff. And it's not it's not against YouTube TOS to say, like, I don't really... It's not against YouTube TOS to say, I think you should talk to your doctor before getting the vaccine or whatever. Like, that's not anti-YouTube TOS, you know? But he goes up against the line, too. They're still talking about Hunter Biden. I mean, it's a Republican YouTube channel. What do you want? When was the last time Dore criticized a Republican? Never. And he probably never will again. I wouldn't be surprised if the next time Dore criticizes a Republican, it's the next time it's like a rhino, you know? Like, the next time a Republican breaks rank with, like, the Republican Party and does something that's, like, sort of leaning in with the Democrats, he'll attack them. He lightly criticized Republican CRT fear-mongering and was downvoted massively. Oh, that's true. That's true, yeah. He said that CRT isn't a big deal, and he had more dislikes than likes. Why do they call them rhinos? R-I-N-O. Republican in name only. Basically, fake Republican. All right. Cut it out.